must do is embrace the vision.
What's good, Vision Gang? I already know what it is. This is your boy DaVizion, and I'm back again with another MMA reaction. Today, I'm reacting to the fighting business, Kamaru Usman, not the usual downfall. Kamaru Usman, I know a little bit about him. I know he was the former UFC welterweight champion before Leon Edwards beat him like a year ago, maybe. I don't know too much more about him. I know he was a tough champion, long reigning champion, was very, very highly respected, and nobody thought Rocky was going to beat him until that late fight head kick that sealed the deal. But I'm really looking forward to learning about Usman and what made, hopefully I learn a little bit about what made him great, and that makes this downfall video even more significant for me. Probably should have reacted to his life story, his documentary first, but let's go ahead and get this thing started, y'all. Kamaru Usman, not the usual downfall.
Kamaru Usman is on a 3-fight losing streak.
What should Kamaru Usman
that's
do
crazy.
now?
The guy has not won
He was
since
just a
November
champion.
of 2021.
You stand back and you see what Hamzat was able to do to a former champion. I mean, it speaks volumes.
Yeah, that first round was just like, my gosh, man. It's just like...
You can hear the outrage already. 0-3? Should be cut immediately. Washed up, exposed, has been and never was. On paper, this does look bad.
Obviously not the result you wanted, but that was an exciting fight.
It's a tough one.
Especially considering that at one point, Kamaru Usman was damn near unbeatable. But let's take a closer look. The devil is in the details here. And while some may write him off as another Tyron Woodley, here is why you shouldn't. 3 fights, and we'll take a look at each one. And by the end of this video, you'll understand that Kamaru Usman, the Nigerian nightmare, one of the greatest welterweights of all time, is still a problem.
I'm a problem. What?
So is he, do you guys think he's going to make a comeback, or is he done? Let me know down below what your guys' opinion on Usman is.
Heading into UFC 278, Kamaru Usman was the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and according to a good majority of the fan base, he was on track to matching or even surpassing GSP himself.
Dana says nobody was a bigger hater on Usman than me. But when he's done, he will go out as one of the top 5 greats to ever do it.
Active.
Wow,
and
top 5 greats to
defending
ever
champion.
do it.
Usman had done so much damage to the welterweights that he was considering moving up to 205 and even called out Canelo Alvarez for a boxing bout.
To 205?
Of course, it's a tall tree to
He's
climb.
going to skip middleweight?
We saw what happened the last time I was an underdog.
That is how big Usman was back then, and the title challenger, Leon Edwards, was an afterthought. Usman had already defeated Leon Edwards years ago, and while Rocky had improved, Usman had transformed into a literal nightmare, so Leon was going to be another victim.
Success only
That's
drives
what they thought.
you to work even harder. So if they're thinking that I'm slipping, it's going to be a bad night for them.
UFC 278 was the stage for his 6th title defense, and Usman was the overwhelming favorite to win because, of course, early on, Edwards did surprise the champion with a crafty trip and controlled him, but this was nothing for the champion, who came back and dominated the next 4 rounds. With less than 1 minute to go, Leon Edwards, who we all thought was done
needed
for,
to finish.
hit the left hand and threw a head kick right after, shin to skull, and Usman was
Staring
on
at
canvas.
the ceiling. Wow.
Defeated for the first time since 2013. The king had fallen, but dethroning Usman was no easy feat. He had dominated the vast majority of the fights, and a small slip to the right or even a partial block, he would still be living in the Usman era. Rocky was the only guy capable of pulling that off, and while he did become champion, lucky shot was a popular sentiment among the fandom.
Did Usman, he didn't get a title shot, did he? He didn't get a rematch. That's normal in the UFC, I'm noticing. Like, I always felt like if a champion loses his belt, he should always have a chance at a rematch. But in the UFC, it doesn't always happen. And I think sometimes it's because of the draw of another match or whatever. But, like, somebody let me know, why didn't Usman get an immediate rematch?
First time since 2013, and knocked out brutally. there were some concerns regarding Usman and how he would bounce back in the immediate rematch. After such a vicious loss, you should sit out for at least a year, but the trilogy bout was set to headline UFC 286 in Leon's home country. You get 30% better when you become champion. That is what they say. But if Usman was anywhere close to what he was before, even a boosted Leon Edwards was going to have trouble.
What's your excuse for the 3 rounds before that getting your head beat in? Your coach had to back you. Come on, Rocky. Come on, Rock. You're letting bully you, son. Not one. You're getting bullied, son.
So they did have a
Die,
rematch.
though. After a knockout like that, most fighters, even
Did they?
champions, are never
Or they were
the
going
same.
to?
At UFC 286, it was time to find out, and the former champion definitely seemed a little gun-shy early on. Was the knockout still haunting him? Was his confidence in his durability
So they
cracked?
did have a
I don't
rematch.
know.
I'm salty. I
don't
thought
know,
they
but
didn't
one
get a
thing for
rematch.
sure, Leon Edwards was the best welterweight on the planet, and right from the start, he implemented a kick-heavy game plan. Kinda out of it early on, Usman came alive during the fights and made it a tough night for the defending champion. At the end of the fight, Usman had actually landed more punches to the head, but the decision went to Rocky.
Just went to
Majority
decision,
at
went to
that,
Rocky.
but it was
Okay.
clear that Edwards was the better fighter that night.
No, he's a brother like myself, and much respect.
It was also clear that Usman was still an elite fighter, but many considered this loss as the beginning of the end.
Wow, I did not know he had a
Two
rematch.
losses to Leon Edwards. Usman was not going to get a welterweight title shot as long as Rocky remained champion, but the Nigerian Nightmare still declared himself as the boogeyman of the division and called out Khamzat Chimaev as his next opponent.
I went into Dana's office and I said, hey, okay, this is the guy you guys are saying that is the next guy in the division. Okay, give me that guy.
Khamzat was interested in the fight as well, but he was also interested in killing everyone else, all the welterweights, middleweights, and light heavyweights, and so Usman moved on. With no championship duty hanging over his head, Usman was out there enjoying life with the Khamzat fight scrapped. Bilal Muhammad was the obvious next pick for the once dominant champion, but Usman was in no hurry to get back until he got a phone call 10 days before UFC 294.
He texted me, he was like, yo, what's up? He's like, well, I might be taking a fight.
Paulo Costa had a nasty staph infection. Khamzat Chimaev needed an opponent. This is the fight we wanted ever since Khamzat got his first rank win at 170. Scary champion versus the scary contender, but we were more than a year removed, and this short notice bout was scheduled at middleweight. Usman, a championship level fighter who had not fought a 3-rounder in years, was given 10 days to prepare for a fight in Abu Dhabi.
Wow, he only had 10 days to prepare.
And so, while I'm still here, why not cause as much chaos as possible?
Usman, being the savage that he is, accepted the middleweight bouts, and he was a 2-1 underdog against Chimaev. The undefeated phenom had gone through a war with Gilbert Burns, but you're as good as your last fight, and in his previous outing, he finished Kevin Holland in the first round, and apparently with his ungodly grappling attack, he was going to do the same to Usman.
Last 2 fights you lost. If you're the best, why you lost?
Boer shot his signature takedown seconds into the fight, and despite getting a 10-8 round, Usman survived the early onslaughts, and just like the fight before, he came to his senses, found his old confidence during the heat of combat, and started landing combos on Chimaev. At the final bell, Usman did not get his hands raised. The fight was ruled yet another majority decision in favor of the undefeated fighter, but Usman had inflicted enough damage, and Khamzat did not seem as invincible anymore.
I actually did hear about this fight, that Usman did really well and made Khamzat seem not scary. Like he only had 10 days, moved up a weight class, so it's not the weight class he's normally fighting in, and he did very well and went to decision when Khamzat's supposed to be the big bad wolf and didn't look so big and bad. He just looked a little bit better than his opponent.
Broke my hand, man.
Surviving the first round, coming back, outlanding Boers on the feet, all of this on 10 days notice. For the first time in his career, Kamaru Usman was the people's champion, and while he looked distraught in the post-fight interview, his stock didn't plummet one bit.
He is as advertised. I give him his props, but, you tell me, does that look like I'm done?
He turned the bloodthirsty immortal into a battle-weary warrior. Enough said. A head kick knockout at the end of a fight he was winning, a majority decision against the reigning champion, another majority decision loss to an undefeated contender with the deck stacked against him. Yeah, this guy is definitely not going on a Tyron Woodley type skid anytime soon. Fractured confidence maybe, but once Usman shakes off the doubts, we see the old nightmare haunt the octagon, and he doesn't make it easy for anyone. A lifelong wrestler at 36 years of age is usually a dead man walking in MMA, but Usman still seems to be in the twilight of his prime, and his next opponent, whoever it is, will need to prepare appropriately, because this all-time great is a force to be reckoned with. And now, you know why.
Alright, you guys, that was the Fighting Business, Kamaru Usman, not the usual downfall. And yes, I believe the video. I'm going to go with the video. From what I just saw, and just me putting everything together, Kamaru lost the first, like the video said, the first match was a surprise head kick. He was going to win the fight. Leon shocked him with a head kick. He won. That happens. The second fight, he lost by a decision, and it was a really tough fight. And a lot of people, some of the rounds could have went either way. And then against Khamzat, he literally only had 10 days, didn't have a full camp, and still came and could have beaten the invincible monster. So he's not done. He's still elite. He just had some tough times with Rocky, and didn't even have a full camp in the next fight, fighting in a weight class he's not really in. So yeah, I just can't write him off yet. You guys, I'm enjoying these videos, learning more and more about all these great fighters. I hope you guys are enjoying following this journey with me. If you are enjoying it and you haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell if you're really liking the videos, so you can be first to see the videos when they drop every single day. You guys jab that like button, send this video to the moon. And as always, you guys, be safe, give it your all in whatever you're doing in life, and I'm gonna see you next time. This is your boy DaVizion, and I'm out. Peace.